Oh my God, we finally did it, guys. This is months in the making. I don't know how we made this happen.
I am, especially with my technological skills.
Yeah, we're gonna need you to get an assistant just to set up your computer. I interviewed a guy the other day, and this guy came on, and I was like, "You're not the dude," and he was like, "I'm the dude that makes sure this happens," and I was like, "That's what Barri needs."
I need a team.
We're all works in progress. Right?
Oh my goodness, yeah.
Well, I gotta tell you, this has been us clawing against the universe to make this happen, and I am just pumped to be here with both of you guys right now.
Everyone should be so thankful.
And so what we're gonna do is she's gonna be here, and then she's gonna drop off, and me and you're just gonna keep it going, Barri. So basically, the premise behind this whole thing is for the three of us to do quick sessions to talk about mindset, to talk about, how you make stuff happen and all that stuff. Correct? Y'all too?
Yep.
100%.
Yeah. So you only have a couple minutes, so why don't you leave us with some thoughts where you are currently, how your week's been?
Yeah. So Austin and I had a chance to talk on his Brain Dump podcast earlier this week. And my mantra for the week was finish, because I've got so much crap on our plates. I think we, as these kind of, visionary investor folks with all these big ideas, we get really good at starting stuff. But at some point, you got to finish. You got to think about that last 5 yards, and you got to get it over the goalpost. So there's a couple of things that I really put a ton of effort into. For instance, I was asked to write a chapter in a book called Aspire: Women Finding Their Purpose. And I am proud to say that is completed. And it is a chapter that I'm really freaking proud of. And the idea in that I'm most proud of, that I want to put on your radar too, is it doesn't matter how fast you climb a ladder if that ladder is up against the wrong wall. Understanding what your North Star is, where you are driving to, matters so incredibly much. Really having that foundational understanding of where you want to go. Because if I want to drive to Texas or I want to drive to Vegas, I mean, it's kind of two different paths. I just need to know the end point I'm trying to get to, and then I put my ladder against that wall. So thank you both for guiding me in those directions.
Well, and also more importantly, the biggest thing in that is you have to remove your ego from what you need to happen. Because when you look at a real estate deal, if you're looking in 3 months or 1 month transactional states, instead of what's my long-term goal legacy wise, right? You understand that you can let some things go. You can leave some money on the table, because the relationship we're building over and over again is greater than the sum of one transaction. And I think that's what a lot of people have trouble with.
Yes. And close. If it is worth it, get it over the finish line. If it's not, understand when it's time to pivot.
And more importantly, sometimes you have to close before you're ready. I don't have all the moving parts of this deal, but I'm sure as hell going to sign my name on it, because it's such a good deal that I'm not letting it get away. You have to control the deal before you can even operate on the deal.
Sounds a lot like you're working on something like that, Austin. Maybe 9 lots or something.
Yeah.
Maybe you should
real estate mogul.
No, I'm just trying to be like the both of y'all. So before you get out of here, any inspiring words for the week before me and Barri continue on? Not as great conversation, but we'll work on it.
I will. I mean, first of all, I dig that you're wearing that shirt. That makes me super, super duper happy. What I will say is, focused energy gets you where you want to go. And we both of us have talked about vision boards and knowing things you want to move towards, and how I did a vision board with my nanny and put Amazon best-selling author on it, and then was subsequently asked to be part of this project, which, oh my gosh, it's to be an Amazon best-selling book. So I mean, things happen. You just need to put the brain space into deciding that North Star, really understand foundationally that North Star, and go out and figure out that next right step. So thank you both.
Perfect.
You're the best.
I miss you already.
But it's true, right? It's like you said, it's like she was saying, right? If you know your North Star, if you know where you're going, it takes that fear away a little bit. If you're scared to close, like you said, if you're like, oh my God, is this the right deal? Does this make sense? Well, where are you trying to go? What are you trying to achieve? What does your life look like in 10 years or whatever, 20 years, 30 years? Does this deal make sense to that, right? Because I hear, for example, taking it back to real estate, that just really made me think. I hear of all these people buying a $40,000 home in Memphis that cash flow, that rents for 800, right? And that's fine. But are you buying that for now? Because that cash flow, okay, cash flow is $400, say now. And you're like, oh, cash flow's $400. And that's okay. $400 is $400 and it's great. But does that fit in with your vision? Do you see yourself in 10 years' time when you're retired, owning a home in Memphis? Are you going to fly to Memphis? Where do you live? Do you live in California and you've got to go to Memphis to check on it once, twice a year? Is it somewhere you want to go? Is that $400 going to make a difference? Is that $40,000 that you bought, that maybe you bought it cash? Is that what best served putting it there? Or is it something else that fits in with your vision and where you see your life being in 10 years' time?
Well, doesn't that go what me and you prescribe to? Lifestyle investing, right? I had a guy call me and he said, listen, I have two options. I can either go down the REO route that I'm comfortable in, or I can get into multifamily because that's what everybody says I should do. And I said, hey, hold on. I said, where do you think the market is going? What makes sense for you? Mm-hmm. And does it make sense for you to take 2 years out of your life to learn multifamily and not know what you're doing? I said, what makes sense to me is sticking in the avenue that you know, double down on it, making cash from that, then taking that $50,000 and investing in it in a multifamily deal with a great operator so they can teach you it from the inside out instead of you trying to be a syndicator and not knowing what you're doing. So you've actually doubled down on what you already know. And that's what people don't understand is that they're so quick to move off of where they've already made their money when you haven't maximized out your deal. But more importantly, when I invest in something, everything, what is it going to do to my lifestyle? What is it going to do to my time that it's taking up? Because you're giving away two things at all times, money and time. And whatever's important to you is going to matter. I know that's how me and you think. We want to be able to work from an island. We want to be able to work from a hotel somewhere. That's the way we prescribe. So we might not take on a ton of flips because that doesn't work for our mental state, correct?
Yeah. And like you said there as well, there's something huge there that your client said to you is like, everyone's telling me I should invest in multifamily. Man, that's a dangerous thing, right? Like, because you go on Bigger Pockets, and I'm not knocking about Bigger Pockets. It's amazing when you go on these, listen to podcasts, or you go to a clubhouse or whatever you do, you look at Instagram and you see someone and you think that's what you should do. But if you're successful doing REOs, right? There's people, super successful people that are doing single family homes. And the progression is for a lot of people to go to multifamily. But if you're successful in that, why go away from what you're successful in to and if you're going on a good trajectory and you're heading in the right direction and you're getting close to where you want to be, right? Why would you go away from that? Maybe supplement it a little bit with something else, but stick to what you're good at. Like, there's so many people that are like, I feel like I need to do this, I need to do that because I've heard that that's what you do, right? And it's good to listen to stuff, but you've also got to realize what you're good at. And it's like, sometimes that, man, is so dangerous to me. I hear people say that.
Well, what's interesting, and this is something we talk about with one of my coaching clients who just left his job. Once again, sorry about that. That's for another time. But what he said that's very interesting, right, is their threshold for their monthly bills are so low and they're already happy, right, as a family.
Yeah.
That dude, full disclosure, he can do one wholesale a month and live like a king. So yes, is he going to go do more investing? But that's because he knows what his nut is per month. And I think a lot of people think that their nut needs to be this ridiculous thing. But if you can live off $4,000 a month and you can wholesale one property and live for 2 months, and then you can operate, this is what I tell them, you can operate from a place of abundance and make decisions from a place of strength instead of a position of wanting. And when you make a position from strength, then you actually know what you want instead of seeking out, searching. This is something I'm going to do a video on this weekend. I think as I look at investing in general, I think too many people are trying to do an investment or put their money somewhere for a home run.
Right.
Instead of operating from a place of strength and understanding that the compound effect of doing the right deal, not losing money, making a little bit of money and doing that over and over again, you're going to wake up in 5 years or 3 years and you're going to be exactly where you want to be. But guess what? That's not the sexy thing. That's not what Instagram's all about. But I promise you, you're going to feel better. You're going to be able to spend more time with your family, and you're going to be able to get exactly where you want to go. And in 5 years, everybody's going to be asking you how the hell you're at the beach every weekend. And you're going to say, because I did what I was necessary. Nobody wants to stick to a plan anymore, right? Plans are not sexy. But when you have a buy box, you have a scenario, and you only do that, you allow yourself to not be distracted by the BS.
And that's so true. And like you said, with it, again, going back to Instagram, going back to bigger pockets, all that stuff, right? You hear all the time about someone that did a no money down deal, and then in 10 months time, they made $1 million, right? And that happens. I'm not saying it doesn't, but that's not that's the exception, not the rule, right? And you hear these stories, and I think people get carried away and think, oh, I want to do that. That sounds cool. And it's cool if you can do it, right? But there's nothing wrong either with buying a property, and it takes you 3 or 4 years to turn that around, that multifamily property. And then in 3 or 4 years time, you sell that, or you cash flowing like a bandit, and wow, it's a great deal, you know. And like you said, there's those home runs that really add up, because it's not just the money and the returns that you get. It's the confidence, it's the education, it's the experience that you get, it's the credibility you get from doing these deals, right? It's the ability then, once you've done a few of these home run deals and you have that experience and you have that understanding, so even then, if you don't have any more money, to bring on partners to say, hey, I've done these 3 deals. They've really solid deals. I understand. I learned X, Y, Z on them. Let's do a deal together. And you know, those things really compound, right? It's not just one thing. It's not the $100 a door that you're making in cash flow that compounds, and all of a sudden you're making 500,000 a year from the cash flow, right? That can happen. But it's the education, it's experience, it's the friendships, it's the relationship, it's the networking, it's everything. All those things compound, as well as the appreciation, as well as the cash flow, as well as the debt pay down, as well as the tax benefits, right? There's so much more that compounds, like you've mentioned, over deal, over deal, over deal. So it's better to do solid deals than to try and hold out, like you said, for the one amazing home run deal. It's nuts.
Well, isn't it very interesting that the deal that I'm currently working on has aspects of hard money, new construction, Airbnb, and yet in my former career, I had done all those things at one point. So I understand how to structure this deal for investors and ourselves. And I'm totally comfortable doing everything and not scared whatsoever, because I've already done it. And if I were to discount that journey or those steps that took me to get there, then I wouldn't be able to do this deal so confidently. And too many times in life, we walk through life and we say, that didn't matter. I wasted my time. This is the number one thing I can't stand. I'll use this analogy. If I hear one more if I hear one more person tell me that they were in a relationship with somebody and when it was wasted time, BS. BS. Look, I got out of a 13-year marriage this year because it didn't serve me. But in that 13 years, that woman supported me, and we grew together, and we traveled, and we had experiences. And yeah, there might be some emotions within the situation currently, but in 5 to 6 years from now, I'll look back on that time and be thankful for it. And I won't look down upon it. I won't talk bad about her, because in that moment in time, we grew with each other, and now we didn't serve each other anymore, and we decided to be happier with other people and move on. You can't walk through life and say that time didn't matter, because that time meant something.
You know what I've heard so many times from people from interviewing, and you probably hear this as well, is that a lot of times the crappy times, the stuff where stuff goes wrong, change people's direction and leads them to something bigger and better, right? Mm-hmm. Like you said as well, where you'll end up being, and hopefully it's somewhere good, is as a result of everything that happened before you, right? Mm-hmm. So you should need to be thankful for like that. It's not wasted time. It's leading you to where you need to be. And it's like so true. It's just crazy. Prime example, wrestling, thought wrestling was going to be everything for me. And that's where I was going. Cut short, I was going to be the world heavyweight champion. Cut short didn't happen. But look at me now. I'm happier than ever. Like if I was still wrestling, I wouldn't be home with my wife and my son every night. You know what I mean? I wouldn't have that time. I would be away. And wrestling is awesome. And it's a great lifestyle. But for me, being home with my son and my wife is so important, and it means the world to me. So if I didn't have that, it wouldn't have come across real estate investing either, because I would have been probably living a comfortable life as a wrestler, just doing that. But now I've come across real estate investing, I've come across podcasts, I've come across people like yourself, evolve my mindset, continue to evolve my mindset. all these things happened because of that moment, which I thought at the time was the worst thing to ever happen to me. It felt like I got hit over by a train, but it was meant to happen because it brought me to where I am today. And without that, I wouldn't be where I am today, and I probably wouldn't be as happy as I am, you know. And it's just all these things, like you said, that it's not wasted time, right? It wasn't wasted time, me being in the WWE, because I learned a lot about myself, developed. Like, there's times in your life which is going to be crappy and it's going to suck, but it's going to get you to where you need to be. And if you remember that, I think it's also easier to get through these times, right? And there's always a setback is always a setup for a bigger comeback, right? Is that,
well,
this is a,
yeah,
you know?
I mean, it's what I published today on my Friday rant about the subconscious.
I love that. Let's just listen to that, by the way.
Thank you.
Everyone should go listen to that. Literally everyone. That's check, because I'll tell you a quick story. I was listening to that and I got up this morning and I didn't sleep well. And I haven't been sleeping well. And I was like, man, this is going to be a crappy day today. I'm going to be tired all day and I've got to do this and I've got to do that. And then I've got to party tonight. I'm going to socialize. I'm going to be tired. And then I listened to that and I was like, wow, whether I slept good or not, right? I have the choice to what do I tell myself? And if I tell myself, oh God, I didn't sleep well last night. Oh my God, today's going to be a crappy day. Oh my God, this is going to mess me up, right? And then I took a shower, listened to your thing in the shower, and I was like, all right, today's going to be a great day. Today's going to be awesome. And I can control that, right? And the subconscious mind, like you said, every day I get up and I'm like, oh, I didn't sleep good. Oh, my wife asked me, how do you sleep? Didn't sleep good. Oh, it's horrible. Oh, blah, 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 blah. Whether that's true or not, right? That's inconsequential, because what you tell yourself makes a difference.
Yeah.
Like, literally have so much energy now from just turning that around and framing that different.
I'm going to go on a more metaphysical level with your not sleeping well. There's something in your soul right now, or your mind, that is unsolved. And because it's unsolved and because the loop is continuing, it's wrestling with you and it's trying to teach you something. And so through this discomfort and this understanding of why it's coming to you, and understanding that your subconscious believes whatever you think, whatever you tell. Yeah. And so if you look up, in the book, the guy wakes up in the mirror and says, what's up, good looking? He's like, we're going to have a good day today. And it made me think, like, because here's the deal, true story. Had a guy call me the other day, can't stop drinking. Like, fuck this shit. I'm not stop drinking. Like, he's like telling me like straight, like, and I'm like, oh, damn, this is like, he's like really in a bad place. Mm-hmm. And I said to him, listen, don't stop drinking. And his buddy, who's my friend, goes, what the fuck did you just tell him? I said, don't stop drinking. I said, because you're not in a place where you can understand what's going on right now. I said, but can you do this for me? Can you take an hour break? Can you drink a glass of water? Can we just stop the cycle? So he stopped the cycle, got some help, went to an AA meeting. He's been sober for 2 weeks.
Wow.
Because you don't tell somebody that's in a bad place to just change their behavior. It doesn't work that way. You have to speak it into existence first. You have to tell yourself, I'm healthy. I sleep well. I'm happy. It's going to be a great day. You know what's weird about me? Tell me if this has ever affected you. And I can't explain it. I don't understand it. I have no idea, but I fixed it. And it bothered me my whole life. If it wasn't sunny outside, I was in a bad mood. Every time. I need the sun. I enjoy the sun. And for some reason, it would affect my mood. Like, I'm nasty. I'm like in a bad mood. And I finally said, like, rain, shine, like 75 hard is to me. Rain, shine, snow, power, water. It doesn't matter. I still go operate in a space because I'm a guy that gets the job done no matter the environment. And something I talk about with my coaching clients, this is my question to you, can you take your morning routine and who you are on the road? Or do you only need to be in your safe environment, your comfort zone, your house where everything's perfect? But are you strong enough to take this routine on the road? If my clients can take their routine on the road and still execute, I know I've done my job.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And it's kind of like the stoicism, right? Yeah. I don't subscribe to that too much, but I've listened to stuff and I like that stuff. It's like, if you take one day a month or one day a week to make things as bad as they're going to be, right? Sleep on the floor, eat beans and rice or whatever it is, right? Starve yourself all day. Well, if that ever happens, you know that it's that, right? And it kind of feeds into what you're saying, right? Is if you need the weather to be happy, right? And the weather does affect me because I lived in Wales my whole life and I hated friggin' rain and stuff like that. Yeah. So that's why I live in Vegas, because it's amazing, because it's sunny pretty much every day. But some days when it is that, I'm like, it does affect my mood and it makes me tired and blah, blah, blah. And it goes back into that stoicism. If you're able to make sure that regardless of that, right, you're still in a good mood. If a bad day comes along, if you practice on that day to make sure that you're in a good mood, well, when the good days are good, you're going to be good. But when those days come along, they're not going to affect you. And the same with your morning routine. If you're able to practice a morning routine, and whenever you go, wherever you are, you're doing whatever that is, meditation, drinking tons of water, exercising, whatever that is for you in the morning, you're able to continue that, right? It doesn't affect you. It doesn't take away from you. And it just keeps supporting you.
Well, and then more importantly, you're not allowing external forces to dictate how you operate. And what people don't understand is it's in those moments when you don't want to that truly create the person. Because think about it this way. This is something I've said on the last couple podcasts I've been on. I'm not going to celebrate. I don't give a shit. But I'm 7 days away from 150 days, 75 hard, right?
Wow. Yeah.
No water, no power, in the snow, don't care. Made it happen, right? Yeah. Traveling, all these things.
Yeah.
But what's interesting to me is when I have a bad day now or something doesn't go perfectly, my new normal for my daily habits are pretty gangster. My new normal for my daily habits is so far ahead of where I was 150 days ago. How can I not be this much far leveled up? And people think that you need to wear the nice shoes to the gym and you need a certain program. And I've got to wear this outfit, Lululemon. Like the program is you. You're the program. That's all you need. You don't need a gym. You don't need fucking weights. You don't need any of this shit. Move your body. Listen to something positive. 90 days in a row, 21 days for a new habit, 90 days for a lifestyle. And I promise you, if you moved your body 10 minutes a day and read a positive book, listen to something affirmations, you're going to be farther along. Stop complicating it and stop putting things in your life that create you self-sabotaging your way into a new habit.
And do you also think that you've changed your standards now? Your standards for what your morning routine are different, right? So it's creating that habit and changing that, but your standards now are much higher, right? If someone says, oh, let's just get up and drink a cup of coffee, you're like, wait, no, that's not, I don't do that. You know, like your identity, right? Like what you say to yourself, who you identify with. You're like, no, no, get out. Cup of coffee, get out of here. I'm doing this, and this, right? You know, and your standards have changed. And that's really important, who you identify as your standards, where you can change your standards, right? Because I hear people say all the time, like you said, right? I'm sure you, I can't stop smoking. I'm a smoker. Or I can't. Oh, I went to the gym for 10 minutes. I did a little walk, and the standards are low, right? But you can change that standards, right? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? If you go to CrossFit and you do a CrossFit workout, right? And I don't do CrossFit, but I'm just saying that's pretty hard, right? And I know people that do that, right? Their standards all of a sudden, because they're there with a group and they're there every morning doing it. They went from like, just, a 10-minute walk this morning is good. And that's good. That's a start. But to this, right? They're doing burpees. They're doing all these core exercises, they're doing snatches, they're doing deadlifts, they're doing all this crazy stuff because their standards have changed, right? And then and once you get to that standard as well, you identify with that standard. It's crazy to me.
Well, I would imagine in your career as a wrestler, your standard of what you view as a workout is a little different than what normal people think, correct? Or am I wrong?
Yeah, it was. And I identified as that person so you can identify with unhealthy things and you can identify with healthy. And I don't mean just healthy in terms of lifestyle. It means I'm a hard worker. That's a good identity, right? I'm a good person. That's a good identity, right? I'm a family man. That's a good identity, right? I'm lazy. That's a bad identity. You know, go on. So I identified as one of the hardest workers in the gym, right? And I would get more satisfaction from someone coming to me, and it happened quite a few, and I'm not tooting my own horn, but just to make a point was I would say, I've never seen anyone work out as hard as you. And that was to me was bigger than anyone saying, hey, you look great, or you're massive, or you're so strong. That meant more to me than anything else, because that was something that I just kind of identified with at that point. And so then when you walk into the gym and you think, I'm the hardest working here, nobody's outworking me. And you look at people and you're like, hey, I'm good. You know, I might not have always been the strongest, I might not have always been the biggest, but I was usually the hardest worker there. And that I identified with that. And that was my standard, you know, again, going back to that standard. So we're covering a ton of stuff now, which is pretty cool.
Well, think about it this way. I'm a coach, performance mindset, right? Yeah. So people come to me for accountability. Well, what they don't understand is I have accountability of thousands of people. Why is that? Because you best believe that the coach is going to lead by example, because I don't have a choice.
Yeah.
And so people ask me all the time, how do you keep up your routine? How do you go for it every day? And I'm thinking to myself, like, because if I don't have a damn job.
Yeah.
Like, I don't have a choice. So it's actually this built-in push and pull, right? And here's the deal. Same thing in the podcast realm. People are listening. They want to listen. We have an obligation to deliver value to people. And it's almost like more of a duty, right? And so if you do these little tricks or you put yourself in these positions, you will gradually pull yourself along. Because see if you can understand this concept. If you came to me or somebody came to me and they said, this is what I want, these are the 3 goals that I want for coaching. So I'm speaking to that person from that day on as if those things have already happened.
Yeah.
And so I'm speaking to that into existence and then pulling them along in their thought belief. And maybe they're borrowing my belief in them till they believe it in themselves. And then once they believe it in themselves, they're off. They're gone. But I'm pulling them along, you know.
I think that's huge. I think you can fake it till you make it. And these are all hacks as well. I think that's what's so cool to me, is that your behavior and your outcomes and your lifestyle can all be hacked, right? It's not like so many people say, you know, can't teach an old dog new tricks. Oh, this is the way I am. Oh, blah, blah, blah. I call BS on that 1,000,000%, right? You can change who you are. You can change everything about you, right? But it's these little hacks that, and I love it. I think it's so fascinating what you can do to your brain and to your physical state and everything about that, right? Just through, like you said, if you just tell yourself every day, hey, I'm good looking, I'm handsome, I'm the best, I'm blah, 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 right? This is going to be the best day ever, whether you believe it or not, right? If you say that, it makes a difference. Do you know what I started doing a long time ago, and I kind of need to go back to this, was I would write down my goals, I would write down what I wanted to do for my day and things like that. But before I did any of that, I would write smile 5 times.
Yes.
My God, anyone who's ever having a bad day, just smile. Whether you're happy or not, just smile for 30 seconds straight.
Yeah.
See if that makes a difference. Just smile. Even if you hate everything is horrible, just put a timer, 30 seconds, look in the mirror and give yourself the biggest smile. It'll make a difference. I don't care what anyone says.
Dude, try and be in a shitty mood and dance. You can't do it. You can't do it. You can't do it. So change the mood, change the environment, inject something into your life. We as adults, like I'm writing a book right now with my friend, and one of the chapters is the art of fun. Adults have forgotten that this life we lead is about fun. So I want you to think as an adult, what were the things when you were 11, 14, 16, 18 that got you excited? And I promise you, if you go do those things or attach a reward to your business with those things, you will create the fun that is listed in your life, because everybody's so quick to get to the next goal, the next property. And we stopped having fun. It's annoying.
Well, when I was listening to you this morning, I was thinking, this man needs to come up with a book. He needs a friggin' a book or 2
so
or 3
so
or
I'm gonna release 2 books this.
Okay, yeah.
So yeah,
you should, for sure.
Yeah.
And what are they? So you said one is fun.
So no. That's the concept of the book. I can't really tell you the title, but basically it's about networking, impact, and in the digital age. The book that I'm releasing that's already in the works, this one's getting written right now. The other one is that I'm releasing. I'm taking my rants and I transcribed them all, and it's going to be 52 weeks to constructing your life with Austin Linney.
Okay. Yeah, perfect. Those rants are good, man.
Yeah. So, it's just providing value, and then ultimately understanding that people consume your content in different ways. How do you put out products that works for everybody? Some people want that book. Some people want the podcast. Some people like the video. Mm-hmm. So understanding that everybody takes in stuff different ways. Sometimes when they read it, a concept sits harder with them. And so if you're somebody that doesn't write well, like me, and has dyslexic, you can turn on your Zoom and you can talk to it, and then it'll automatically transcribe it, and you're already written. Boom.
Boom. A hack, right? It's all about hack and finding ways to make it work, right? Like you could have said, I'm a crappy writer. This is not going to work. Stop. Done. Finished, right? it's like that question they ask in real estate and Rich Dad Poor Dad is, how can I make this work, right? How can I afford that? I think that's the question they ask in Rich Dad. But that's such a powerful question. Is like the moment you say, no, I can't do it, or this isn't going to work, or whatever the negative is, finish, done, no more, right? But if you say how, or I wonder if, or these probing questions, right? Even if you never get there, at least you've exercised that mind, exercise that ability to maybe get there, right? And it opens other doors as well from there. And like you said, you found this that you just talk to Zoom and just Grimes, and you have a book from it, right? It's just amazing.
Yeah, 100%. And never thought I would have one. So, we're gonna keep doing these, guys. This is on Barri's. This is mine. We're gonna do it out. I think we covered a lot of ground here. I want to kind of get it done. But Barri, why are we doing this? Kind of leaving everybody with the first episode of these, kind of your thoughts process behind this.
Yeah, because me and Mandy, Mandy was on here for the start of it, was that I interviewed her and we started talking about mindset, and she's all about mindset, and me too. I just developed my mindset and continued to develop and realized how crappy my mindset was, and how much you can change in your life, and how much you can improve your life, and how much you can take control of your life through just the simple thing of mindset, right? We're sitting here now, the mindset that what goes on in our brain, it controls everything that we do, everything around us. It's just absolutely mad. So the reason we're doing is hopefully to share what our experiences, what we've learned, and you and Mandy are even better than this that I am, but hopefully it touches someone, helps someone, moves them, improves their life, just even if it starts them down that journey of investigating what their mindset is, what are their thoughts, what can they change about that would be huge. So it's just fun, right? It's just so fascinating and interesting to me. You talked about fun there. This is so fun to me. So that's my 2 cents. What about your 2 cents?
It's ultimately, at the end of the day, what I love about this platform in a podcast setting or a YouTube setting is people are at different moments in their life, and something hits them, or a sentence hits them, and we don't know when. It could be 3 years from now, it could be 10 years from now, it could be tomorrow, it could be the next week. And so having this documented value that we're giving to you, documenting our journey, allows us to also metric out our life and kind of touch base with where we've gone, but also allows you access to information and the mindset of me coaching people and helping people and talking to people way smarter than me, way farther along than me, and kind of sharing their concepts. But mainly, kind of my philosophy on all this stuff is trying to break it down to an analytical way or analogy way for you to understand a complicated concept in something that you can digest, so you can bring it into your world, take what you want, leave what you don't, and then create a better life for yourself that's yours, that is for you, and that makes you 100% happy. Because at the end of the day, it's as simple as this. If you're a better version of yourself, then you will radiate in other aspects of your life that will generate impact towards other people. And the ripple effect of impact and value leads to the way that the world changes for the better. And that's all that matters.
Boom, mic drop, finish. You can't top that. Perfect. Cool. Thanks everyone for listening. Check out Austin's stuff. Check out my stuff. Thank you, everyone.
Got it. Have a great day, guys. Share it with your friends.